The word for the day is authentic. Authentica, to be the author. See, to be authentic is also very similar to author. And that means also authority, whoever we give our power to then tell us what our, being the author, what our story is about. It's kind of interesting. But the reason why nature, Mother Earth and all, is so important, because this is what the body is created from the elements. And we manifest through the elements. That's how we manifest in this material realm. This is how we do this. And when we're not authentic, meaning authoring our own universe, our own story as we desire, we're authoring someone else's story that we have been told to believe is true, and all that we are, and then who we are. And so then what we're doing is we're living, have a persona that we have created called the false ego. Now you need an ego, which means identity, and that would be spirit, soul, child of God, divine being, which would, however you would choose that to acknowledge who you really are. But who you are is beyond all those words, as you know, but this is what we've been using. So to be authentic, then, the thing in nature is the integrity that this tree is a tree. It's not trying to be a poppy, or it's not trying to be the water. It's actually manifesting as a tree and has a consciousness, because consciousness is what pervades this material world. It animates dull matter. And then we are that spirit that is expressing through these elements. And what we want to do is, in a sense, we're all suffering from some mild case of schizophrenia, which is identity crisis. Well, who am I? And what happens then also in the world of business, you might say, or politics or whatever is out there, whoever best fits the caricature of whatever role we're supposed to play in that particular movie, that particular game, then instead of being who we are, we take on those characteristics to make sure we have a job, that we have money to then feed and take care of these 5 elements that we're expressing through these senses and this body, so that we survive. Well, guess what? You can't die. You're an eternal being, so survival is not the point. And what we tend to do is use that, well, I've got to survive, So instead of being who we really are, which is so powerful, so magnificent. Not you don't stand around, look in the mirror and say, I'm powerful, I'm magnificent, I'm wonderful. That's ridiculous. It's the source that we are part of, that is the totality, that we're already one with everyone, and yet we're different. Get out of that, we're just all one, like one mass of jello of some kind. We're individuals who are in relationship with Source, because we are part of. But how, when we disassociate ourselves from who we are authentically, because we've never learned or never told, and you do not want to be what someone else tells you to be, or tells you who you are, nor do you even ask anybody else what you should be doing with your life and what you're about. And you are an eternal being. And when we're in nature, what we're doing is we're reclaiming the earth element. We are, instead of bonding with space and all of the space travel, which who knows what that is, this is a space right here, you see. And it's actually spaces between objects, is kind of what it says, is that we're grounding ourselves in the earth. And it's a little damp this morning, so I've got these little sandals on, but usually, when it gets a little warmer, I go barefoot and sometimes wear wool socks because they're good conductors. And spending as much time as you can, or I don't even like to say, you're not spending your time, as if time's a commodity and you only have so much, and then your time runs out. Really? Who set the clock? Who is it that agreed to that? You. And when we really understand, and you don't want to understand, because anything you say you understand, you're standing under. So you're making that superior to yourself, and you're placing that in your center where you belong. And that's the problem when we, instead of being authentic, being who we are, being centered through the breathing, through noticing how you are in nature, noticing when you're really yourself, and then starting noticing how we've all modulated ourselves, and so we've changed ourselves in some way to make ourselves marketable, to make ourselves fit. And I'll tell you, many years ago, at Orange Coast College, that was the junior college that I went to in Orange County, California, right after I graduated from high school, Newport Beach High School. So anyway, they were having this luncheon honoring some of their outstanding students and all that sort of thing. And so when I was a freshman, where I was field testing the metaphysical principles that I had learned between high school and college. The summer I spent with my great-grandmother and a metaphysical teacher. And so I had 3 months of really learning some of the basics of manifestation and who we are. So it was a powerful time. So I went then to junior college to apply it. Well, I then became homecoming queen and then freshman class president the second semester, but whatever. Anyway, so I went to this big luncheon they were having, and they had students there and these different people. Well, I had just come back from India one of the times, because I lived there for a few years, and it was just fabulous. Anyway, I was wearing a sari and sandals, and I had a box of books where I was going to give to everybody on vegetarianism, on good recipes. It was a recipe book and all that. So anyway, when other people got up to speak, whatever, they all had the suit. They were politically correct. They only read what they were going to say because they had to go over it and make sure they didn't offend anybody. Make sure they fit the persona and the caricature of the job that they had to make sure they made money so they could survive. So what do we then assassinate, make an ass out of, assassinate, is our own divine beingness. And what else are you and do you have but who you are? So, bond with nature. Be authentic.